Roelof, a very good morning to you and thanks for your time. Now, the general consensus out there is that the Reserve Bank will leave the interest rates at 6.75%, but many agree that or feel that we will likely be hit with a hike come May. Do you agree with that?
Well, we must distinguish between what they are likely to do and what they should do. And they are obviously likely to keep rates the same, but what they should do is to lower rates substantially as well.
Okay, but would that be possible in our current economic climate?
Well, it would not only be possible, but it would be advisable. Because what we've got in South Africa currently is a huge problem with unemployment and a lack of growth and a lack of demand. And apparently the Monetary Policy Committee of the Reserve Bank believes that they can manipulate the oil price. They can manipulate the rand exchange rate. And they always get it wrong as far as their inflation forecasts are concerned. Over the last couple of years, on average, about 100 basis points. And Lumkile Mondi agrees with me that we should have at least a reduction in the repo rate of 100 basis points, 1 full percentage point. Because our problem is not high inflation. The inflation rate has been comfortably in the Reserve Bank's inflation range for the last 20 months, for 20 months. When Jill Marcus was governor of the Reserve Bank, she had enough sense to realize that you must strike a balance between maintaining growth and combating inflation. Inflation that you can actually do something about. And we had average growth of close to 3%, and the real prime rate was 3%. Since her departure, there was a significant and visible shift in monetary policy. Now the cost of capital, as measured by the prime rate, has increased since her departure by more than 80%. And that in itself aggravates inflation.
Roelof, I mean, just if you had to make this case to the MPC, if you had to walk into that meeting or sit down with them and say, this is why I think you need to be dropping rates, what would you say to them?
Well, I would give them a list of 15 reasons, and I don't want to labor the point right now. But if you look at the current composition of South Africa's inflation rate, it is hovering at about 5%. It was on average 4.6% last year. The major reason why we have inflation in South Africa, of course, is because of the fuel price, our current rate, and obviously administered prices. If you take that out of the equation, then our inflation rate is a full 100 basis points, actually a little bit more than that, lower than it currently is. The policy of inflation targeting is a good policy. And of course, we need low inflation. But it doesn't help if you raise interest rates to tackle something which you have absolutely no control about. I'm now speaking on behalf of South Africa's manufacturing sector when I tell the Reserve Bank that almost 70% of the reason why we have such a large slice of unutilized production capacity in our economy right now is a lack of demand. We do not have excess demand in the South African economy. We have a high unemployment rate. And what I will also be telling them is that you are not making Cyril Ramaphosa's task any easier because he needs to resuscitate this economy. We need to maintain our credit rating with Moody's. And Moody's itself has admonished the Reserve Bank not too long ago about the fact that they are following a stringent monetary policy in the wake of an economy that is not growing. Ever since the new kids came on the block after Jill Marcus's departure, our growth has averaged less than 1%. There is no reason why they should not lower interest rates. This has got nothing to do with the independence of the Reserve Bank. Of course, the Reserve Bank must be independent, and of course we like low inflation. But what is our policy priority right now? En route to the election, what we need in this country is we need peace and we need stability and we need jobs. And that should be their priority. But it's as if they have forgotten about this. And quite frankly, I wish a lot of them would retire.
Okay. All right. Thanks very much. We'll end on that note. And that is economist Roelof Botha.